Hi there, everyone. This is Summer again, coming to you from MY Solution Group. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I promised that I'd be making kind of like an introduction to what cryptocurrencies are all about and why we are also hyped up about, the financial revolutions, about cryptocurrencies, about OneCoin. And most of you have been asking me, Summer, what is this? What is this all about? And sometimes I find it hard to explain to many people because it's not a concept which in Africa we are very fond of. Although we experience the effects that a terrible financial global situation is affecting us. And Africa being one of the world's richest continents, I want to put it in global, with huge amounts of resources, both in minerals and every other thing that comes from the soil, as well as the people and the culture and everything, we tend to discover that we are the poorest. We consider third world countries. And the first world countries basically are enriching themselves with our resources. Now, how do we fall short? We we in Africa we fall short because the system of education has been corrupted in such a way that people will not understand what is really happening with them and their money and why things are going down and why things are going bad. But instead, rather, we're going to put in some lay excuses. Oh, the crisis in this other country is affecting the price growth of things. Oh, this is happening. I'm going to tell you guys something. Um, I had a dream. I had a dream that one day Africa in itself, it's going to control its resources, manage whatever it has, and basically we're going to be like the run to continent of the world. And for that to happen, we have to change the mentality we have in Africa. Basically, the mentality it's in so terrible place that even if you have this knowledge, it's still very difficult for you to thrive in Africa, basically. And what knowledge am I talking about? I'm talking about the whole thing which we call money. For many people, money is that thing, that paper that you get, from your country, or let me just quote an example. This, for many people, this is money. The sad truth is, this is just a piece of paper. It is a piece of paper as worthless as this paper. Now, this is a Tanzanian shillings, and what is the difference between a Tanzanian shillings and this piece of paper? Is that, oh yeah, you have some nice pictures of some elephants on it, and a number which has been written, which we can also write on this one, and a code. And the Tanzanian people agree unanimously that if I give you this 10,000 Tanzanian shillings, I can get something in exchange. But when you get out of Tanzania, this Tanzanian shillings is basically worthless. Take, for example, if I take this Tanzanian shillings to Cameroon, there is no place which I can change this money into. So basically, the tissue paper has more value than this because this has a lot of print on them. And this one, I can clean my face with it. Now, this is one of the things people don't understand, the difference between currency and money. I would like to keep this very introductory video a little bit short so that I can build up the momentum for the people who would be watching. Money is basically the exchange of our time when we do something. So when we exchange our time and our freedom, we expect to get something of value in return. That thing of value is supposed to match basically what time and what sacrifices we have given. We have right now, we have what we call paper money, which is a global unification of what we call current money, but it's basically currency. But the government has not only, in fact, stolen from its people, but it's basically driving its people down because it is one of those things that we do not understand how it works. Take for example, 10 years ago, or let's say 20 years ago, we used to buy Fanta in my country, Cameroon, for just say, we could say 150 francs CFA. Today, that same Fanta costs 400 francs CFA. And what do people think about this? Oh, they've increased the prices. Oh, the price of this. But the people fail to understand that the value of whatever they call money has been diluted by the government, has been diluted by whatever decision the United States takes into printing out more currencies. When the United States goes for war, they print out more dollars. When they print out more dollars, it affects the economy of the whole African continent, because most African countries are dependent on the United States dollars or the euro. I won't go into detail for that one today. I like to keep this very short and very brief. We can only change our economic situations if we understand the simple, basic knowledge of finance, of money, and of everything. What we call money should not lose its value. It should be easy to travel with. It should be accepted as a medium of exchange. That means if I have this thing here we call money, I should go to another country and it should be still the same value. And basically, we should be able to break it down into small bits, like have change for it. When we take back the olden days, we used to have the trade by barter system. And the trade by barter system, what was the bad part about the trade by barter system was that you cannot have a certain goods, you can have certain goods and exchange it with another person, because it was very difficult to match your want from the person's need as well. So that system failed. From the barter system, we went into the gold system. Now, why did gold system basically work so much? Was because gold is, first of all, limited. You have to mine it. You have to mine gold and silver. You have to mine them. They are limited. You cannot go to a bank or you cannot go to a warehouse and produce gold. You have to mine it. You can break it down into coins. That means you can mint them into coins. It's easy to carry. It was accepted. 1 kilogram of gold in Tanzania is 1 kilogram of gold. It's the same value as 1 kilogram of gold in Germany. It's the same as 1 kilogram of gold in China. But what then happened to the gold system? Gold, 1 kilogram of gold really has a weight. So the people in those days, they said, okay, fine, we're going to make something like a check, a deposit check, whereby if you have gold, rather than walk with your gold, come to us, okay, we're going to store the gold and we're going to give you a check and say, okay, you have this amount of gold with us. Now, that is when currencies came into play. When currencies came into play, they were backed up by gold. They were not just paper money printed out. And people could walk around with this paper money, or at that time currency, which was lighter to carry, and every other fact. From the gold system of payment, we moved to the fiat system. I think that was in 1971 when the President of the United States was fearing that all the gold that the United States has been hoarding when the war was going on in Europe would be taken back, because the United States, as they always are, oh, I'm sorry, but some of you will not like to hear it, the greatest manipulators of our time, the United States, when people were fighting in Europe, the First World War, they were printing out more and more dollars. Before, a 50 US dollar note was backed up by about a 20 gram of gold. And as the United States dollars are always clever, the United States government, they're always clever, and the rest of the world is stupid. They were printing out more dollars, which was not even equal to the amount of gold they had in their vault. What happened? After the war, French president at that time, Charles de Gaulle, basically was made an open speech and said, the only thing that we have that has a value is not this paper money, but it's the gold that we had. And by the way, where did they get the gold from? Africa, if some of you didn't know. So they enriched themselves with whatever treasures we have on our land, and we are the poor guys. I'm not even going to go into that one. Now, after they basically, started demanding the United States dollars to return whatever gold they have in exchange for the dollars, because it was kind of like a certified check, all the countries also started doing the same thing, and the United States discovered that if they pay out all the gold, their system would run dry and they would crash. Now that gave rise to what we call fiat currency, because when President Nixon came out and said, okay, we would halt all gold exchanges because of blah, 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 the rest of the world stupidly accepted. They stupidly accepted and said, okay, yeah, fine, the United States have said it, oh, they're the wisest and everything, let's accept. And the United States dollars brought to birth what we call today fiat currency. Fiat currency is what we're using today. It's a paper money backed up by nothing. Meaning that if there is a problem today, the government just goes back into its printing room and prints out more of this. And what happens? When a product or when something you call money is not finite, and when you have the possibility of printing out more, you're diluting the other currencies you have in the market already. This is the reason why you have a Fanta that was costing 150 francs or even 75 francs before, costing 400 francs today. Back in 2008, what happened in Cameroon, my country? I would use Cameroon because it's basically where I have a lot of focus in. There was the strike, over 40 people died according to state's calculation. But then, other reports said more than 100 people died. Why were they protesting? Hiking prices, hiking this, hiking that. But don't forget, those people failed to understand that economic crisis in Cameroon was because of the global economic crisis. When there was global economic crisis in the United States, when the United States decided to go for war in Iraq and blah, 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 people did not understand the impact that it's going to have on the world economy. When the United States printed out more dollars, Africa suffered. And Africa is still suffering till today. We've been colonized. We've been basically taken out and made slaves. And we are still slaves till this date. Let us stop being slaves to ourselves. Let us enlighten ourselves and empower ourselves with the education that we require to grow. And if we understand where we are heading, we would know that, okay, fine, we want to break out of this bond and this chain that we basically did not make for ourselves. 30,000 francs 30 years ago, you could buy basically a lot of stuff. And the same 30,000 francs today, you cannot even use it to feed an entire family. Why I'm driving to, it's all about cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency, in a very short form, is a digital money. It's a digital gold. It is finite. You cannot go in and print it because it's working on what we call the blockchain technology. You cannot print it out. You can divide it. It's easy to carry. It's less expensive when you want to send money from one person to the other using the blockchain technology. The Western unions and the MoneyGrams are killing the sub-developed countries with huge charges. They're killing us. They're really killing us. Sending $100 to your family member would cost you about 25%. And 25% is a huge amount of money when you understand how many families are surviving under $2 a day. Imagine what $25 would do to a certain family. We have to find solutions for this. And the solution forward, guys, I'm going to tell you openly clear, is cryptocurrency. I, this is just like an introductory video. I would take time over and I'm going to go into cryptocurrency, what cryptocurrency is and how it will benefit Africa more than Europe and all the other places, how it will empower the middle class economy, how it would drive up industrial development, how it would drive up marketing and every other stuff. Anyway, I think I've gone more than my 15-minute mark and I don't want to make it too long. But I'll be waiting on your comments on whatever questions you have. You can put it when I post it up. You can write a comment under, and I'll get back to you and stuff if you have any other questions. Meanwhile, you can follow us on MY Solution Group on our Facebook page, MY Solutions Group Swiss/Africa, or you can contact me on Facebook, Summer Peric. If you have any questions or anything that you want me to take care of. Just one thing for the listeners. You don't have to be a billionaire or millionaire to make a change. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a millionaire. But I want to see that change happen. And I cannot do it alone. We have to do it all together. But the best way I can start is if I educate, if I pass out the knowledge that I have to anybody listening, and I don't know who's listening, but I'd like to know who watched the video and what you think about it. Part 2 will be coming up next. I have a dream that Africa would rise up to its real powers. I have a dream that Africans would make great use of their potentials, of their powers, of their markets, of their resources. I would go forward with my dream, no matter the setbacks and no matter how many times I've failed in all the things and things like that. Life is an education. When we fail, we learn. My life is not perfect. I'm still on a learning curve. I'm pretty young, and although pretty old for some people. But I decided that this is the time that we should do something for our country and stop asking what our country has done for us. This is Sam Peric from MY Solutions Group. OneCoin is the future. Cheers, people. And I'm waiting on your comments. Click like, click subscribe on my YouTube channel or wherever you find us. I'd like to get your comments. Have a great day, people. Cheers.